post-commentary Q&A part 5. Hey Polly, I want to find an OTP but struggling heavily with it. Any tips? Honestly, you should just play whatever's fun for you. Like, just try out a bunch of different champions until you think something's fun. You might also have more fun playing different champions instead of only playing one over and over again, so choose whatever feels right, because everyone's different. Hey Polly, I quit League again for the 10th time, but keep seeing videos shorts to tell me back in. How do I stay clean and healthy like mama taught me? Also, if X equals 16 and tables taste like a prickly 100 kilograms, what color is 1987? So I also take a break from League every now and then, but if you're enjoying the game, then I don't see a reason to stop. Most people actually enjoy playing, but they just don't like the people they play with, which leads to them wanting to quit. If you can find a way to have fun without relying on the actions of other people, then I can guarantee you that life will feel way better in the end. Also, if you plug the numbers into the formula here, you can see that the color of 1987 is orange. Would you join a PCAT Gold EU and Mii for a class someday? I don't have an EU NE account, only a level 9 EUS one, but there are times when I got invited to games from completely random people that weren't on my friends list when I had my NA client open, and I was bored, so I just joined them. Can I get a girl if I play League? I have a theory that League players are red flags, so although the answer is yes, proceed with caution. Do you think the motivational quotes yourself? Do you have them prepared beforehand in the text, or do you search them online? I think there are times when you don't know what to put at the end of the videos, and I'm kind of curious what do you do in those situations. For the most part, I just make my own. Like, I definitely heard some of the quotes before, and they just pop into my head whenever I'm looking for things to write at the end of the videos. Sometimes I just talk about random things that did in my life if I really can't think of something, so it's pretty flexible. I try not to stress too much about it because it's just a casual thing. Hello Polly. Just as you said that you generally don't need to be happy every day, what is your scope of at least being satisfied with yourself? I'm currently just being a bit down and depressed and thinking is it worth it to continue doing things? I'm a very simple person, so something small can give me more happiness compared to that of someone else, but in the end it's all about what gives you value in life. For example, when I started working out almost every day, it felt like an accomplishment because no matter how bad the rest of the day went, it still felt like I got something done since at the very minimum, I at least burned some calories and kept my body healthier than it was before. Other times, something as simple as editing a minute of a video or just getting out of bed and doing basic chores helps me stay motivated enough until the next task. Obviously, this doesn't always work because sometimes you have to learn how to enjoy things in unenjoyable situations, but if you figure out how your mind works and truly understand what keeps you going, then even on your worst days, you'll realize that there's ways to get small victories and that it's not as bad as you thought it was. Hi Polly, can you give me your worst and workless wisdom of your life? You know, if you really think about it, there technically isn't any bad wisdom because either they're telling you the right things or they're telling you the wrong ones and you figure out that they're wrong, so you still learn the right answer in the end. Have any pets or want any pets? Dude, I love pets, but I'm like 99% sure I'm allergic since the rest of my family are. If you were to design a new champion or skin, what would it be? Probably definitely not Bard. Do you like pineapples? Why do you say silly little things on your videos like hooray and Brad? Yeah, I think pineapples are great, and I'm not really sure why I say things like hooray and like yippee and stuff. I think I heard it being said by somebody else and I thought it was funny, so I just did the same. What do you do to deal with burnout when it comes to making videos? Do you have a ritual process or is it just waiting for the energy to come back? Honestly, whenever I feel burnt out, I just do something else. So either I go work out or do some drawing or animating, maybe watch a movie or something, and that usually solves it by the next day. Just having the freedom to do stuff and being genuinely interested in a lot of random things helps out a lot to keep me entertained all the time. Recently heard from an Asian friend how they currently struggle with the extreme emphasis on grades, their parents even threatening to kick them out if they can't achieve top scores in their classes, while they just want to enjoy their youth. What's your view on the different cultures as someone who has seen both? Having a good balance between working and having fun is always hard to manage, since although it's good to enjoy life, sometimes you do have to accept that there are times when you have to work just as hard. Like, a parent has to know how to be strict with their child so they don't grow up completely spoiled, but also give them their own space to figure things out and explore themselves a bit. Each culture has their goods and bads. Like, I think the Western style of education is more flexible overall, but it's almost too flexible sometimes, which can be detrimental in the long run. While the style of education over here is more about competition, where instead of being the best you can be, it's really more about just being better than everyone else. And while I feel that does increase the average level of education, it gets very toxic very fast since everyone has to study more and more to get higher grades than the next person. And being motivated by something is good and all, but it is really bad when it becomes the only reason for your existence, since logically you can't have multiple people being rank 1 in the end. Like, it's weird that people that are good at math can't understand this fact. If someone manages to get into a good college in Korea, that's considered having made it, since the older generation just believes that your score determines your future, which obviously isn't true from a Western standpoint, but is a pretty common belief over here still. It's kind of a messed up way of parents wanting a good future for their children, because they generally think that that's how they're going to succeed, when most of us know that's not the only way to progress in life. The common advice I always hear for students that have parents that heavily emphasize something like grades is that you kind of have to live the way they want you to live, or at least pretend like you do, until you can get out and go to college, where you'll have way more freedom to do things, and from there you can either decide to continue on or work hard enough to be able to sustain yourself without the help of your parents and live your own life. Like, every family has their own way of doing things, but in the end, your friend has to figure out what they want their future to be and find ways to reach that goal, since it's still their life and life is too short to be controlled by somebody else. Excitement for Arcane Season 2? Do you watch a lot and amount of media? If so, what kind? I watch literally anything from movies to shows to animes to other content because it's just interesting seeing all these stories that someone made and their style of how they presented it. Like, I just think it's fascinating how different one person is from the next by how they communicate through these mediums. Hi Polly. Question, did you ever do Taekwondo at military or elsewhere? To barred or not to barred? I got a first dance certificate card thing during military. It's like the first level I think, but we all had to do it and I was like, okay sure. And you're not going hard enough if you're not going barred enough. Super important question for the next Q&A. Rock, paper, or scissors? Okay, let's do this all together. To you watching this on your screen, get ready. Rock, paper, scissors, paper! Hey Polly, is there something socially accepted or normalized in countries outside of Korea that you find yourself baffled by? I feel like tipping culture is like the dumbest thing imaginable. Like, can't we just pay people enough money to survive from their job and not have to rely on human service gotchas for the rent? Like bro, why? Polly, I read that only about 2% of artists or art graduates truly become successful. I haven't fact checked it though. What do you think needs to be done for more people truly interested in art to make more consistent living? Honestly, I feel like if someone wants to be successful in a creative field, although it's obviously good to be skilled at what you do, I think it's also equally important to know how to be a good businessman or woman. Like, take my case for example, right? I'm low-key kind of just surviving from content creation because I don't really care that much about min-maxing earning money or anything. But if I really wanted to be quote-unquote more successful, then I would actively look for things that would increase my chances of my content being sustainable, like sponsors for videos or collabs, etc. But I'm dumb lazy, you see. If someone was the best artist in the world, but they had no skills on how to advertise themselves or reach out to people for more work, then they will probably have trouble growing compared to someone who has objectively less creative skills but a better ability to understand opportunities and put themselves in a position to be successful. Why do you sometimes say things in Spanish? No sé. What's your favorite mob in LoL? Like raptors, skull crab, etc.? It's not a mob, but I like the little ducky that shows up in River from time to time. If you find any Faker but he's on the enemy team, would you lose? Nah, I'd... Hi Polly, my friends suck at this game but I don't want to be toxic. Any suggestions? Either just don't play with those friends, or just don't say anything when you want to flame them, or you can just joke without being too passive aggressive. Hi Polly, how do you counter procrastination? The only way I really found was that you have to trick yourself into thinking that you have less time than you actually do, or just start right away so your body has no time to react, which is way easier said than done. Like, I can tell myself, okay, I'm going to pretend this project's due tomorrow even though it's due in a week to try to trick myself, but then my body is just like, bro, why are you lying? Because it knows it's due in a week. But if you just don't think and start doing it, your body won't even have the luxury to go, I don't want to do this, because now it's already in the process of, oh god, I'm doing this right now. I've just started to get into drawing and I draw landscapes pretty well, but drawing creatures is where I struggle and I was wondering if you had any advice on improving. Also, I'm struggling to find things to draw and was wondering what advice you had for finding things to draw too. Personally, I actually only draw maybe like once every month or so because I straight up don't have time, so I never had to figure out what to draw since I have weeks of just nothingness until something appears in my head. But if you're having trouble on what to draw, then honestly just doing something different might give you the answer you weren't expecting. Like, if you find that just sitting down and thinking about what to draw for 10 hours isn't getting anywhere, then going for a walk or just having fun doing other things might give you the mental refresh to think of new things. Or if you want to take a more active approach for ideas, then finding an artist you like on Pixiv or Twitter or wherever and just going through the works might give you the inspiration you need. Polly, what is the most chaotic neutral answer you can give to this question? Hi Polly, I wanted to ask how do you handle playing from behind, losing lane, and what tips would you give to try to win in that situation and support? Love your videos by the way. So this all really depends on how the rest of your team is doing. If your top side is winning hard, then you can actually just play safe the entire laning phase and try not to die so that your top side can carry you. If your top side and your entire team is losing, then you kind of have to just limit test and go for aggressive fights since letting the game play out with the enemy having an advantage is only giving them more chances to snowball in the end and take fights that they want to take. If the game's even and it's only your lane that's losing, then it might be beneficial to try to roll mid or help out the rest of your team so that they can get ahead. But you should only really do this if your ADC is a complete lost cause and they show signs that they have no idea what they're doing. Hi Polly, how do you manage your time for everything you're doing? Do you have a certain routine you follow every day or just do what you feel you want to do at the times? The only thing I usually have to do is stream and edit videos enough to upload once every 2 or 3 days to pay for rent. And whenever I finish my daily quota basically, I either spend the rest of the day doing things like making videos for my other channels, making more videos for my main channel ahead of time, or other art and animation things I have lying around. But it just comes down to doing the main stuff I have to do right away so I don't have to worry about it later on. How old are you? Because you always seem very wise. I'm 28 right now, but I still have way too many things to have to learn in life. I just had my fair share of terrible experiences with people in general and had time to reflect on it, so all I can really do is just live and learn. Hi Polly, do you think League is accessible for new players nowadays? Definitely not, but this is something that happens in everything, not just in League. Like, imagine trying to become an NBA player when you're 20 years old when you never played basketball before. It would definitely be way harder for you to climb the ranks compared to someone that's been dribbling for 20 years ever since they were in diapers. Of course there will be prodigies every now and then that just picks up on things faster, but for most people there's always going to be some kind of wall that can only really be passed through time and experience. And that'll be it for today. As per usual, if you have any questions you want to ask me for the next post commentary video, feel free to ask and I'll try to answer any that I haven't answered before. Have a good day and I'll see you guys in the next video.